We're tracking results tonight in the South Carolina primary runoff election, where voters have been deciding who will face off in November in local offices to congressional contests.
And one race that has caught a lot of people's attention, including the president's, is the GOP runoff for governor. So here are the results. Alan Wilson is the projected winner over current Lieutenant Governor Pamela Evette. The score was 69% to 31%. We heard from Wilson earlier tonight.
I also want to give a shout out to President Trump. I was honored to receive his endorsement. He co-endorsed me late last week because, first, I believe he recognized what we've been doing for the last 10 years to support the things he was trying to accomplish with his administration. But also, I think he saw the fight that in our campaign, the energy in our campaign. And I think he likes a fighter.
Tonight the primary is over. Tonight we come together because the stakes are too high and South Carolina is worth too much for us to do anything else. This isn't the end of anything for me. It is just the beginning of a different chapter.
Now Wilson will face State Representative Jermaine Johnson in the general election in November. He won the Democratic nomination outright earlier this month.
Another local race people have been watching this election is for the 1st Congressional District Democratic nominee. Nancy LaCour is the projected winner for this race, beating out Mac DeFord by just under 1,000 votes. WSAV's Andrew Davis joins us live from Mount Pleasant, where a watch party for Nancy LaCour is underway.
Well, she just left the military in December and just started her campaign in February. But Nancy LaCour made sure that every moment counted. Tonight, she is celebrating. That's the fact that she's become the Democratic nominee for Congress in the 1st District. Now, the former 3-star admiral climbed the stairs tonight to speak to her supporters in Mount Pleasant. She stressed that this is just the beginning. She wants to build a movement, a coalition of voters that claims integrity is important and that all voters, Democrats, Republicans, and independents all count. She knows many people are frustrated and angry with the administration, but tonight proving that hope is stronger than division. She wants to achieve her next mission now, bringing stability back to Washington, protecting our home, and saying that is not partisan.
First and foremost, I'm not a career politician, right? I was in uniform until December 1st last year. So, and my time in uniform is something that I think people are craving. They want somebody with integrity. They want somebody who just knows how to lead, who's ready to get to work. I think they're tired of the show horse that we've seen in the current representative, and they're ready for a workhorse, and that's me.
Now, LaCour said the party is unified tonight. Mac DeFord called her, congratulated her, and supporting her in November. Now, she did have some pointed words for her potential opponent at this point, Jenny Honeycutt, saying if you like inflation and corruption, then that is your candidate. Tonight, though, about Nancy LaCour herself winning that Democratic nomination means she does get to celebrate, and good news for her, it's a big celebration coming. Tomorrow is her birthday, so definitely a happy one for her. Now it's back onto the campaign trail for November. In Mount Pleasant, Andrew Davis, WSAV News 3 on your side.
Andrew, thank you. On the Republican side of the same race, Charleston County Council member Jenny Costa Honeycutt facing a state legislator Mark Smith in the GOP runoff. Here's where things stand. Honeycutt is the projected winner. There you see the results.
And now we'll go to the race for a GOP nominee for Attorney General. That contest between David Stumbo and Stephen Goldfinch. Stumbo, the projected winner with 56% of the vote. For the Republican candidate for the Agriculture Commissioner, it was Cody Simpson against Danny Ford. Cody Simpson, the projected winner, 63% of the vote in that race.
And another local race being watched closely, the battle for the GOP nominee for Beaufort County Council District 5. And there you see the results. Joshua Hauer, the projected winner with 61% of the votes to 39% for Mary Jean Otto. We will have the full list of results as votes continue to be counted all across the state. You'll find those on our website, wsav.com/electionhq.
Switching gears now to a developing story in Savannah. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation looking into an officer-involved shooting that left a man dead and 2 police officers injured. The shooting happened this morning near the intersection of East Victory Drive and Bull Street. The GBI says 2 officers were on patrol around 7:15 when they saw 35-year-old Nicholas Oxendine loitering outside a closed business. Investigators say the officer stopped to question him, and that is when he attacked one of the officers. So the GBI says he then tried to attack the second officer, who fired his weapon, ending the confrontation. Oxendine was taken to a hospital where he later died from his injuries. Both officers were treated for minor injuries and have since been released from the hospital.
The area where this shooting happened, Starland District, is full of businesses right next door to homes. WSAV's Sarah Smith talked with one store owner who says she was curious but not shocked to see so many police in the area.
When I pulled up, I was just like, oh boy, oops, another something bad.
A deadly officer-involved shooting in Savannah. Crime scene tape placed directly in front of businesses in the Starland District, visible from homes.
I was not surprised. It didn't shock me or overwhelm me.
Since the shooting happened before most businesses opened their doors, the impact was minor. One store owner tells me she's lived in Savannah for 30 years and owned the business for 12. She says she's used to this kind of scene.
Sort of used to seeing police presence in this area often, and which actually makes me feel more secure having the police presence here. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of times it's for bad incidences. My first thought is, you know, police are doing their job. So, but yeah, no, that's pretty, it's pretty serious.
Sarah Smith, WSAV News 3, on your side.
Savannah Mayor Van Johnson reacting to the deadly shooting today, saying every day the men and women of the Savannah Police Department put themselves in harm's way to protect our community. This morning serves as another reminder of the risks they face and the courage they demonstrate in answering the call to serve. Savannah remains a resilient city, and we will continue to support those who put on the badge and serve our community each and every day.
New tonight, a week after a shooting at a Savannah apartment complex left 3 people hurt, 2 of the victims are now sharing their story of survival and their road to recovery. WSAV's Isabella Baez spoke with the mother and son about the moments gunfire erupted.
Just a week ago, this Savannah apartment complex was riddled with gunfire. 3 people were left injured, suffering from gunshot wounds. 2 of those people, a mother and son, who are now left recovering as they recall what happened.
I felt the blood running down my leg and my dress was sticking to me. So I was like, oh, I got shot too.
Washington, a resident at Capitol Street Apartments, says the night was like any other night, saying she was outside talking until she heard gunfire.
We heard gunshots and we was just trying to rush into the building. That's when my neighbor had got shot and she fell to the ground, and I helped her up and we got in the building, and then that's when I noticed that I was shot.
Washington says her adrenaline was running high as she was focused on helping her neighbor who was shot. She says that neighbor is also pregnant.
She got shot in the stomach, but it missed her baby. I guess it hit her spine because she did let me know that she had to learn how to walk all over again.
Together, they were able to make it inside. Meanwhile, her son was looking for his brother, the third person who was shot that night.
I don't remember ever getting shot in the foot because of the adrenaline, but I did feel when I had got shot in the behind, though. That's when I had fell in between the cars.
They say minutes later, emergency vehicles arrived, where all 3 of them were looked at by paramedics and taken to the hospital. Washington says she isn't exactly sure why the gunfire started, but says she is now trying to focus on healing until she is cleared to go back to work.
I just think about it more, and being that I can't do as much as I used to.
This investigation is ongoing, and anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers at 912-234-2020. Reporting in Savannah, I'm Isabella Baez, WSAV News 3, on your side.
More than 10 months after a soldier opened fire on his company members at Fort Stewart, his trial and sentencing has come to an end. WSAV's Evan Smoke has more now on how we got here.
On August 6, 2025, a report of shots fired at Fort Stewart was called in.
It'll be building 8422nd Brigade, 8422nd Brigade, gunshot wound, mutual aid. There's possibly 5 patients. They have both of their EMS trucks on scene.
Sergeant Cornelius Radford came to base that morning with his personal handgun and ended up shooting his fiancee who followed him there, 4 other soldiers, and even took a shot at another. Radford was disarmed by fellow company members and taken into custody. Early reports said bullying may have been a motive.
And he was known for a pretty heavy sweater. He was pretty much just made fun of.
In December 2025, Radford pleaded not guilty to all 13 specifications he was charged with, but later changed his plea to guilty for 6 aggravated assault-related offenses on March 31st. Last week, his trial began for the remaining charges, 6 specifications of attempted murder. Here, both sides presented their arguments. Prosecution argued that Radford came to the installation that morning with intent to kill and sought out his commanding officers. The defense countered that Radford's shots were not intended to be lethal, but rather draw law enforcement to his location so he could die in an assisted suicide attempt. Arguments continued until a judge reached a verdict last Thursday, guilty on all remaining charges. Sentencing arguments continued until Tuesday when Radford was sentenced to 6 consecutive life sentences with the eligibility for parole, a dishonorable discharge, a reduction in rank to an E1 or a private, and forfeiture of all pay and allowances. He will serve his sentence at the United States Disciplinary Barracks at Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. Reporting from Fort Stewart, Evan Smoke, WSAV News 3, on your side.